Guys, welcome back to another video. We're going to be talking about the winter transition, as us bass fishermen call it this time of year. We're going to be going over some of the baits that I like to use this time of year, especially because the shad are moving up into the creeks of the lakes, and the bass are sure to follow. So we're going to be going over some of the baits that I like to use, and we'll get started. Alright guys, so when we're talking about winter baits to use and fall baits or whatever. Right now the winter time's coming and you really want to imitate shad this time of year, especially because shad and baby bass really is what you want to imitate this year, especially at this time, because right now it's right in the middle of December. The ice is starting to form on the lakes, at least in my area, and I already did my form of winter fishing, but I just want to show you some of the baits I like to use. Which is probably one of my favorite ones is the jerkbait. Right here, I got two different sizes. I got the 5-inch jerkbait by Lucky Craft. It's the Lucky Craft pointer. And if I want to imitate shad, and we also have an ultralight jerkbait, because a lot of times those shad will change color during the transition. I have an ultralight here. This is just a Rapala countdown minnow, 2.5 inches. These are really, really great to use. I'll fish a jerkbait when I want to imitate the shad that are really in an erratic mood, and especially if I see them chasing them up into creeks. Another great bait to use this time of year would be the Squarebill crankbait. Being my favorites to use are Strike Kings series. I have 2 Strike King 1.5s. We got chartreuse for dingy water that I like to use, but the water's pretty much clear this time of year, so I will go with the standard sexy shad color on that. And I actually will carry one of the 1.0 versions. My favorite color, chartreuse. Sorry about the focus, but the 1.0 version will catch a bigger variety of fish. Another great bait to use this time of year is a deep diving crankbait. My favorite that I find imitates shad and bass the best way, I'd say, is the Rapala Shad Rap. So this is kind of imitates a baby bass type color, and it actually imitates kind of a dying shad, because when they start to die they change colors. So really this is probably one of my favorite colors of deep diver to use, the Rapala Shad Raps. Dives to about 6 feet or so. Another great bait to use that people are really underrated this time of year, because they wouldn't think about throwing a topwater, but this is a popper. The reason I'd be throwing a popper is because a lot of times those shad will hit the surface, and if you throw this out, it might be a shad, and you throw this away from the school. You throw it at the school, make it go away from the school, it'll think the bass will probably think it's a shad that got separated from its school, and I've actually had quite a bit of luck on this. This is a Matzuo Funky Pop, I believe it is, shad color. Sorry about the focus of the camera. Next up would be a lipless crankbait style bait, or some people call it a rattle trap. I have 2 different colors here, my favorite colors for this time of year. Shad or silver, and I have a one in a baby bass pattern, and these work really, really well. The baby bass especially during the springtime, because it's during the spawn, but I like using the shad when the water is really, really clear, and I want to imitate the fish going up into the creeks. And then the baby bass pattern I'll use if it's more dingy water, to see if to imitate a big bass chasing a little bit of a smaller immature bass. Another good one to talk about would be the jig. I got a couple different types of jigs here. We got some finesse jigs. I'm dropping some. So the finesse jig variations. I got my favorite sizes to throw, 1/4 ounce. I also will carry 1/8 ounce as well. My favorite colors would be green pumpkin and black. Same for these 1/8 ounce. And what I'll do with these, are really good for ice fishing, but what I'll do with these is I'll throw them out there, and I'll just do a slow, steady, really small retrieve, or I'll jig them up and down to a kind of get a reaction strike out of those finicky bass. Another good version of jigs to talk about is, actually I got one more Finnese jig right here. This is in green pumpkin. This is a Strike King BitzyBug with a zoom craw chunk on there, green pumpkin. And what I'll do with these jigs to secure the trailer is I'll put a grub body on them. But that's beside the point. These things work really well. I'll fish them the exact same way I would work these, sorry I'm dropping stuff, Finnese jigs. 1/4 ounce. Good jig for this time of year would also be a flipping jig. So it'd also be really good. This is probably my most used version of jig. I got green pumpkin craw type color, and I got a black and blue type color from Muddy Water. And I'll put on a zoom craw chunk trailer on both of these with a grub body again. This is 1/2 ounce. This is 3/8 ounce. Really, really great jigs. I'll fish them the exact same way, only this one I'll fish with a wider retrieve. Another great bait to fish this time of year is a spinnerbait, which people actually, it's a very underrated bait for this time of year. My 2 favorite colors this time of year, white to imitate shad. Wait for that camera to focus. So I'll fish white to imitate shad, and I have chartreuse and white to imitate really anything, like I said, baby bass and some of those dying shads because they'll change color. And I'll fish this with a slow and steady retrieve against rocks. And actually the good thing about the spinnerbait is it has a safety pin style arm, so when you throw this you can bounce it off stuff and often get a reaction strike. My favorites to get are the Colorado and willow leaf blade styles, silver. I don't really get the gold, I've never had much luck on them. The last 2 that I like to use, some of my favorites. I got the Flutter spoons. I like using 1/4 ounce, and I believe this is, let's see, I think this is 1/2 ounce. BlueFox Pixie spoons, my favorite color. Another great thing to use this time of year would be casting spoons. These are just KastMaster. I got one in a fire tiger and one in a rainbow trout color. Really, really good casting spoon, slow and steady retrieve. And my last style bait that I like to use this time of year on my list would be the inline spinner. My favorite being the Panther Martin. My favorite size is the 1/8 ounce. The 1/8 ounce gold is probably my favorite. I fish it in all types of water. Sorry about the camera, it's not really focused right. And then I have hornet color if I want to imitate any of the dying shad that have already changed color. 1/4 ounce, 1/8 ounce. Alright guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys want to see more instructional videos like this, where I talk about my 5 any types of baits for each season, please leave me a link down below in the description. Down below in the comments, and I'll leave all the information to these baits in the description also below. Also, you guys can check the description for when I'm out on the water, for the time, the date, the time, the way I'm fishing, and all that stuff like that. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and as always, stay on the barb, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.